Brett Sockold here, helping you make every class Catholic. I thought I'd make a video because I'll often get a question. People who are interested in working with me, I come out to dioceses, school boards, individual schools. They'll say, what does it look like if you come out and spend a day with us? So I thought I'd make a video and just share with everyone what it looks like. So there's a few different options, but I'll start with kind of the basics. The first thing is a keynote. I like to split it up into about two 45-minute talks. And the real goals of those talks are to first lay a foundation, theoretical foundation, for what we often call curriculum permeation or Catholic academic integration, what I like to call making every class Catholic or teaching every subject from a Catholic point of view. We look at why we would do that, right? How we want to present a coherent worldview across the curriculum. We're not just interested in teaching people skills and knowledge, though they are going to learn those things and those are good, but we want to give them a picture of themselves in the world. We want to be coherent and compelling, and every particular subject gives us a lens onto reality and our relationship with reality. We learn something about reality and about ourselves from trying to learn how to serve a volleyball overhand, or from trying to solve a math equation, or from trying to read a poem or write a poem, right? Every particular subject gives us a lens onto a reality that is one, that is unified, and that we have a special place in. And kids are desiring bigger picture answers to their questions. They don't just want knowledge and skills for the job market. They want to know who they are and what their place is in the world. And so that's just one example. I'm giving the whole talk now, but we want to lay a theoretical foundation for what this is and why we do it. Then we're going to walk through a series of different subjects and explore what it looks like in different subjects. One of the key distinctions we make is between content and context. Lots of people imagine that if they're invited to teach their course from a Catholic point of view, they're going to add Catholic stuff. And that's a good thing to do. There's lots of good Catholic stuff, and we should know more of it. But there's lots of subjects where there's not plenty of Catholic stuff to add. And there's other subjects, even when there is plenty of Catholic stuff to add, we're not only teaching Catholic stuff. So there's lots of Catholic novels, but when we're teaching a novel that's not Catholic, how do we think about it? And so I call that content and context. How do we think about what we're doing from a Catholic point of view? And then we tackle a couple questions that teachers naturally bring to the issue, right? How do we do this in a way that doesn't feel like indoctrination? We spend some time thinking about that. And how do we do this in a way that it feels authentic and integrated rather than kind of awkward or tacked on? Teachers are right to push back against that. That's not what we want to do. So those are what we do in the keynote, tackle those kind of things. And then we if there's time, especially if you bring me in for a whole day, there is time to do workshops. And in the workshops, we walk teachers through a series of guided questions to help them first think about their subject area from a Catholic point of view, and then move towards lesson planning. So then you have to think of like a topic, right? So if the subject is like science, a topic would be something like photosynthesis, right? Or whatever, pick something. Something you're going to teach on a Tuesday. You don't teach science on a Tuesday. You teach a specific thing on a Tuesday. And we want to find a hook or a connection with Catholic faith, and we want to think through those things. And if you've watched any of the workshop ideas videos on this YouTube channel, you can see the kinds of ideas that emerge in those workshops. I'm also now developing a new workshop where I come in with a set of ideas and a rubric, and the teachers can look at the ideas and say like, well, that's a better idea, that one not so well, or here's how I would actually execute that one in the class to make it good, right? Because an idea might be like okay depending on its execution. So what are the actual practical ways you're going to execute it in the classroom? So that's in development. And then I also want to let you know that I've done some like subject specific work, right? So sometimes people have brought me in to work with just the math and science teachers, or the literature or the history teachers. Very often, if groups are going to do that, I mean, one advantage to having me come in and work with a specific department is you don't need to take the whole day off for the whole staff, right? And so it's easier to work into your schedule. Of course, the disadvantage is you're flying someone in. Usually I'm flying. So there's a cost associated with that to work with a relatively small group. So one of the things you can do in that case is coordinate with your neighbors, right? So a group in Northern Alberta said, we're going to do math and science for 2 whole days, but we're not canceling school. We're just getting subs for the math and science teachers. But then they said to all their neighbors, would you want to send 2 or 3 people? And so the hosts had like 8 people in the room. But then there were 2 or 3 people from each of 3 or 4 neighbors. So then there was like between 20 and 25 people in the room, and then they can share costs and that sort of thing. So there's ways to get creative if you want to work with your neighbors on those kinds of things. The main thing I do on most full day workshops with people is those keynotes that I talked about and workshops. But then there's also other ideas, and I'm always developing new material. I'd be happy to develop new material with you if you have specific things that you'd like me to work on with your teachers. So I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, reach out to me, Brett at makingeveryclasscatholic.com. You can go over to my website, makingeveryclasscatholic.com, and just click on the contact info and reach out to me through that. And I'd love to hear from you. God bless.